and you and your beneficiaries are instantly granted access to 100% of the money. Back to our series on annuities. Last week, we went through some of the ugly aspects of annuities. Now we're going to go through some of the not so ugly aspects. And no matter if you have an ugly contract or a not so ugly contract, there is one provision that allows you some flexibility. And that is if you have some type of health emergency. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We'll jump right in. Here's some aspects that aren't necessarily ugly, but they're not really liked, by some annuity critics, even including our buddy Ken Fisher, and that's their liquidity. Right? So liquidity, what does that necessarily mean? It's basically a fancy word that means your ability to get access to your money. So if a financial vehicle is completely liquid, it offers you the unrestricted access to your money without penalty. If it's really illiquid, it doesn't allow you access. Think something liquid would be like your bank accounts, right? Checkings, savings, liquid. You have access to those, no penalties, nothing, right? So what about most annuities? Well, whether they're variable annuities, meaning those that are tied to the market, like we just talked about, or fixed or traditional annuities, which aren't subject to market swings, ups and downs, or fixed index annuities, which are simply linked to an index's performance, but aren't really invested in the market. What do the majority of these all offer when it comes to liquidity or access to your money? Well, they do have limitations. And generally speaking, the majority of them allow for what's known as 10% free partial withdrawals. I always tell people that you have access to about 5 to 10% of your money every single year, usually starting after the first year, and there will be no penalties whatsoever on any of that money. So you can take that out every single year with no penalty. Now, that could feel like a restriction, right? So let's take a look at just how much of an issue this really might be for someone. Now, let's use 10%. Here we've got an example of a 10-year annuity contract, just to paint an even more restrictive example of an insurance company holding your money a little longer than that 7-year period that we looked at with the variable annuity earlier. So now, in this example, we're not illustrating any particular annuity. We're just showing how free withdrawals work, right? And we're using an even $100,000 to put into the product. All right, so let's see here, even $100,000. Okay. Now you can see up in the left-hand corner under the beginning value. Now you'll see that we're illustrating that we have a flat 3% interest every single year. Okay. So there we go, 3% earnings. And we'll simply take out, right, our 10% free partial withdrawals. But again, we don't start that until, like year number 2. And by assuming that we take these 10% partial withdrawals each and every year, you look at our total after 10 years in this annuity, and we've taken over $70,000 in free withdrawals, or over 70% of our initial money, right, out for various reasons, right? And we still have built an ending value of over $53,000 in the account. There are certain situations in which having 10% access to your money first year may not be sufficient, and so working with people for a lot of years, I can tell you exactly what a lot of those situations involve. They involve unforeseen health issues, the things that you simply don't plan on. Say, for example, your spouse has a stroke, or you're forced into a hospital or a rehab facility for an extended period. Or in the case of one of our clients, they were diagnosed with leukemia, right, and had to go into a nursing home. And in those cases, you may find yourself needing a significant amount of money, and you don't want to face restrictions on some product you're in. And so the good news is this. Here we go. Yes, virtually every single annuity contract being sold today offers some type of, we call it an emergency exit, right? We've all seen this sign on an airplane. The flight attendant shows us where all 8 of them are located. The plane takes off, right? So if something unforeseen or an emergency happens, we're going to need to know where they're at. And just about every single annuity includes some type of caveat in the contract that assures that if you should find yourself in an emergency situation, for instance, chronic or a terminal illness, or nursing home stay or death, all the penalties are removed. And you and your beneficiaries are instantly granted access to 100% of the money. And so what I've said is, for non-medical emergencies, which really see non-medical emergencies that need access to this, emergency ones, we have exit plans. So phones, right? We've all owned probably one version of all of these different phones. That's what they are. And we'd all agree that while these are all phones, they're capable of helping you do radically different things. So one could slowly help you call for a pizza. We used to have one of those rotary dial phones growing up as a kid. And what I realized about that, it takes you so long. If you're trying to call the little crush, that you have when you're a little boy and you've got a little girl that you got a crush on, you're, I don't know, 8 years old. By the time it takes you to dial her phone number, you've chickened out like probably 4 times before you actually dial it, because da-da-da-da-7, da-da-da-da-8, it's like it takes way too long. Oh, I messed up. You got to start, right? Anyway, yeah. Heck, my kids probably wouldn't even know what one of those are right now. All right, so one can slowly help you call for pizza. Another could tell that you set your home thermostat in order and order concert tickets with the flick of a while you're on vacation in Spain, right? And so I'm not sure that one in the middle one ever did that, but we sure were cool when we first got our first flip phone, right? But my point is, same thing with the annuities that we own. These products are continually evolving, and if you've ever owned one for any length of time, wise to have it reviewed, first to refresh yourself on exactly how it works, and 2, to make sure it's the best possible vehicle to get you where you want to go still, right? So to have the free annuity enhancement analysis done, just once again, click on that link, get signed up for a 15-minute phone call, and we can take care of that there for you guys.
All right. Next week, we're going to be going over some of the good aspects of annuities. There are plenty of them. And as always, if you want to continue to get updated on retirement information, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can always be updated every single week when we bring out new content. And also don't forget that we do have another YouTube channel, Retirement Rescue Radio, which is our podcast channel where we go through a lot of these topics a lot more long format. And so thanks for tuning in. We're always trying to bring you more information to empower you to live the retirement you deserve. Thanks for listening this week, and tune in next week.